Good morning. Welcome again as we start a brand new week of reading through our Bibles together. We've got a great passage in the Old Testament about Jacob meeting for the first time his future father-in-law Laban and meeting his wife-to-be in the future. Beautiful passages in Psalms and Proverbs. But for my little thought today, I want to come from a leadership principle of Jesus over in the book of Matthew chapter 11. After John the Baptist had been arrested and put in jail, I'd like you to notice he sent people to say, Jesus, are you the one, or should we look for another? And Jesus said, let's talk about this for a minute. And he answered John's questions. He answered the questions of maybe a little bit of a discouraged man. And then later he goes on and he says to the whole large crowd, let me begin to defend John. Let me tell you who he really is. You look at him as defeated and broken in prison right now, but let me tell you who this man really is. The leadership principle I want you to notice here is twofold. Number one, Jesus never bothered to try to answer all the questions of the critics and all the negativism of the critics, but he did answer the honest questions of a man who had paid the price to walk with him. And he defended a man who had paid the price to walk with him. Now, in life, you cannot always answer all of your critics. In life, you cannot answer all of the questions of people who just want to find fault with everything you do. But at the same time, you must never become so callous to the attacks of negativity. You must never become so callous to the attacks of people who don't like you, that you forget that there are people that have paid the price to stand at your side. There are people that have paid the price to be there. And with those people, you need to always be willing to answer their questions, because you're not dealing with a bad attitude. You're dealing with an honest question of a heart that might be hurting right now. And secondly, when you're walking in victory and you see somebody who has stood with you and supported you for years, maybe a little down, and you see people beginning to look down on them a little bit, you always stand up and defend the people that have stood at your side in the hard times. You never let people begin to think, well, that person is down now, so, all hail the new conquering king. You always make sure that you defend people that have stood at your side. So again, the two little leadership thoughts today are, you may not be able to answer all the questions of the critics and the people with bad attitudes, but when somebody stood at your side, always answer the questions of their heart. And you can't defend everybody in life, but what you can do is make sure that you defend the people that have stood at your side and paid the price.